Morning, gang. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. So, I want to elaborate on something I've been talking about a little bit recently. And that's threshold training. There's a couple of little components that I think are important to get a deep understanding of, a thorough understanding. And if you don't, especially if you're an athlete or a coach, and they could be the difference between you utilizing it or taking advantage of it, or just not utilizing it properly at all and not benefiting from it. So, I want to go through this with you, just so you have an understanding of it. It's okay. And again, we're going to talk about a lot of other stuff too. So, if you're a coach or an athlete and you're not subscribed to this channel, please do not leave without subscribing to this channel. I've got 400 plus videos for you already. I'm going to keep boosting this. Okay. And I'm going to continue to add. And, again, like I said, I want you to get to the point where you have a thorough understanding, know exactly what to do and why to do it, particularly as it comes to making better decisions as a coach or an athlete. So, but today's topic right here, threshold running. Okay, a couple little components. Okay, one of the things I want to stress is it's a very very important part of the aerobic system. Okay, never ignore the aerobic system. Okay, it always has to be a part of your training. That's you're building the fitness part. Okay, and again, this and threshold training particularly tends to your oxygen carrying capacity. Okay, so this is why you always want to phase in threshold training, especially during racing season too. Okay, because that's when you want to be at your fittest and your sharpest. Okay, now there's a couple little rules of thumb in terms of threshold training. Okay, for those that may not know. Okay, and it's one of the things I've learned from a lot of coaches over 2 decades as a coach as myself. And there's a period of time that takes, it's about 40 to 45 seconds. That let's just say you're going to do 6 to 8 times 1,000 meters and 345 per rep, right? Which is 6 minutes per mile. Just want to keep it at that kind of basic number. It takes about 40 to 45 seconds to get into the threshold zone itself. So that's essentially called non-productive or wasteful running in the beginning. Okay. And then let's just say you're doing 6. So you essentially get about 3 minutes of threshold zone productive running within each rep. Let's just say you do 6 of them, you get 18 minutes of running. If you do 8 of them, that's 24 minutes of running, 3 minutes per rep times 6 or 8, right? The rest of it is essentially called wasteful. It's another reason why I also encourage folks to do 3 times 200 at threshold pace in the beginning of it, because it helps you not only identify the pace right away, but it helps to mitigate this particular wasteful running getting into the zone, because you've already touched upon it doing repeat 2 to 3 times 200 at your goal pace for the workout, whatever the workout is, whether it's threshold or not. Okay. But now when you move up, let's just say now you're doing 1200s at the same pace, which is about 430 per rep. Okay. So let's just say you use the same 40 to 45 second. Now you're getting about 3 minutes and 45 seconds of threshold running per rep. And let's just say times 6 reps or times 7 reps. You add that up, you're spending more time in the threshold zone. Okay. And let's just say you're bumping up now to 4 to 5 times a mile. Okay. Same thing. It's 6 minutes per mile. I'm using the same pace just so you could kind of follow here easily. Now, the same 40, 45 second principle, you're getting 5 minutes and 15 seconds in the threshold zone doing mile repeats. You're spending more time in threshold. And then now you're doing, let's just say you did 5 times a mile, right? Or let's just say 4 times a mile, 5:15, that's 21 minutes in the threshold zone. It's a lot more than it was before, right? And again, it's different too. So you're spending a longer time in the threshold zone per rep now. And if you do 5 times, that's 26 minutes and 15 seconds in the threshold zone. So you're adding your threshold zone running as you increase the distance of the rep over time. The volume may not change very much, but the distance of the rep can. So like let's say it's 8 times 1,000. It's the same as 7 times 1,200. It's the same as 5 times a mile, or right in the ballpark. Okay. And again, you're spending more time in the threshold zone. Okay. And again, that first 40 to 45 seconds it's considered to be wasteful running. So whatever you do, if you want to calculate this, all right, you can do that by adding. I mean, this is how much amount of time I want to spend in the threshold zone and whatnot. So, and you can calculate this per workout. So again, it's 40 to 45 seconds. It's considered productive running. Now, how do you calculate your threshold zone? I'm gonna give you. I mean, I've got this stuff broken down in videos, but if you want to keep it simple, you take your 5K, your current 5K, you add 1 minute to it. So let's just say you're 16:30, add a minute to it, 17:30, and then you divide that by 5, and that's your threshold pace. So that's what 330 per rep. Close to what we're talking about here, right? So that's what I'm talking about. So yeah, take your 5K, add a minute, then divide by 5. That's your threshold zone per rep excuse me, there's bugs around here, but for 1,000 meters, and then you can extrapolate it. Same pace for 1,200, same pace for miles, and if you even go up to 2K threshold reps, it's the same thing. Okay, so that's how you can calculate it. That's how you can add the increase the amount of time you want to spend in the threshold zone, which is a very important component of training. Okay. And remember those 2 to 3 times 300. I did a live stream on it this past weekend. We talked about it. And I did a video on it the other day too. So to identify these paces that you want to run before the workout itself. So you're not spending a chunk of the time of the workout trying to find your pace, particularly as it comes to threshold. Short recoveries. You can over distance this slower than usual, but this is a way of also learning how to race fast by training slow. So that's what I wanted to point out today. All right. How to calculate your threshold easily, how to increase the amount of time you spend in the threshold zone. Okay. And how do you do to maximize the amount of threshold running or minimize the amount of wasteful running that's considered that you're doing. So let me know what you think. Load up the comments. Okay. Please share this with other runners and coaches as well. I want to make sure you take advantage. I want to make sure you have a thorough understanding. And again, blackbeltrunningcoach@gmail.com is my email. If you have questions, reach out to me directly. I'm very happy to answer them. Happy to have a discussion. Maybe we'll even talk about this in the next live stream. So if you have any other suggestions on live stream, leave them in the comments too. Have a great day, everybody. Train smart, train hard. Talk to you next time.